right, so some deep mind probes. All right, so I asked, why are you doing this? And then he says, control, power. To have more control over the project. And then he says, you see too much. So the reason they're doing this is for control over the project, whatever the project is. But they want power and control over the project. And to have more of that, this was the action that they took. And then he said, you're seeing too much. And so that was the end of the answer to that question specifically. Let's go and ask another question. So I asked, can you explain more? And he said, inadequate. It was a one-word answer. He was just like, inadequate. So let's ask a different question. And then we asked, control, power over who? Control over who? And then he pointed and he was like, you. You see, you. And then the you see part was like, you understand. I'm controlling you. You. So let's ask more. Okay, so every once in a while I ask a personal question, and the personal question I asked was, how do you get better at remote viewing? And then he said basically something along the lines of like tranquility, calming down. And then he sort of made fun of us. He said, you are 90% too agitated. And then referring to like a collective of himself, he said, we have seen to that. And then he laughed and he was like, ha, 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 ha. So I asked, how do you get better at remote viewing? And then he said, you are 90% too agitated. You need to calm down. And we have seen to that, as in we have made you, and it's not just me, it's you. It's you, all the people watching this, you, 90% too agitated, too much going on in your brain. And you got to calm down. You want to get better at this, being able to telepathically navigate time and space in the quantum internet. You're too agitated. You got too much stuff, too much stimulation going on. It's probably the phone and the TV and all the other stuff that you keep staring at and all the subliminal messages that are littered throughout all of that stuff. You're too agitated. That stuff is literally rotting your brain because it makes you so agitated that you can't do these types of things. And if you can do these types of things, then you can see all of this stuff. And you can confront these people. And you can catch when things like this are happening. So then he laughs, and he's like, we've seen to that. Like, proud of the fact that he's manipulated society, collectively his side of things, has manipulated this society into just being too agitated, too in the brain to be able to do these types of things fluently, like just... I mean, everyone knows how to do basic, like addition, like 2 + 2 = 4. Everyone knows how to do that. This should be as easy as that. This should be easier than that. But because this type of control sort of thing has happened, I guess, this sort of, I don't know, I'm just getting the vibes of this sort of like, this guy has directly influenced us. That's what he's saying. He's saying, we have seen to you watching this video, you being 90% too agitated to be able to do remote viewing better, to be able to do telepathy better. I mean, gosh, I mean, like, I'm doing this stuff for a while, but I feel like I'm a baby at this stuff. I feel like I have got to be so much better at this type of stuff. I mean, seriously, meditation is so important. Calming down is so important. Changing what you eat is so important. Being able to change the stuff that's constantly bombarding your eyes and your ears and your mouth from what you're eating is very important. Because if you're not doing that, you're capitulating to this agenda. Do you want to do that? You got to be the person you were meant to be. Not tomorrow, not next year. You got to do it now. You got to do it now, today, right now. When you're done watching this video, hell, pause the video. The video's not going anywhere. See if you can meditate for 20 minutes. I mean, I see some people say, like, that's a difficult thing. Like, are you serious? That's a difficult thing? This guy wanted you to make that a difficult thing. If that's a difficult thing, they're winning. If that's a difficult thing, you lost. You're already losing. If that's a difficult thing, to sit by yourself for the time that a Seinfeld episode goes on, you're losing. Hard. There's no nice way to say it. Sometimes just casually, I'll meditate for like 1 to 2 hours. The only reason why I'm doing that is because eventually, as you work out this remote viewing muscle more often, it becomes more fun than looking at YouTube and looking at Netflix and looking at the other stuff. You gotta do it. I mean, there's no other way around it. You gotta do the work. You gotta just buckle down, learn how to do remote viewing. Hell, just learn how to meditate. Just learn how to be with yourself. Go outside. Enjoy nature. Get vitamin D from the sun and not from a pill bottle. I'm serious. Just go out there and just try it. Just try. You can't mess up as long as you're just doing the work. Listen to your heart. Go out there and just be a psychic being. Be the human that we were all supposed to be. Today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you're done with your apartment lease, not when you're done with whatever you thought in your mind you've invented that is holding you up. You do it now. Drop what you're doing and meditate. Drop what you're doing and get a calmer mind. This guy is blowing up things and he told you how to fix it. You gotta calm down. You're 90% too agitated. How do you get better at doing telepathic things? How do you get better at all the psychic stuff that we all idolize in all the movies and action TV shows that we see? Are you gonna be a spectator forever? Well, if you are, then you're going to be a slave forever, and you're going to deserve that slavery. Every little bit of it. Because you're being weak. And you're going to deserve every weak suffering that comes to you. Because that's what you chose. All right, maybe I'm sorry. Hope that wasn't too offensive. But anyway, he told you right up. He told you straight up what you got to do. Calm down. You're 90% too agitated. I agree with him. That's the end of the session.